Hello, and welcome to the very first ever podcast, Wine Grants. I'm your host, David Moss of the Moss Family Foundation. With me is Matthew Lesko. Hello, Matthew.
Hi! It's me! It's my turn! No!
Great to have you. Great to have you here.
You'll be sorry.
Matthew and I are enjoying.
Oh, we have more wine left. Good.
We're enjoying a fine Portuguese Vino Verde.
Ah, wonderful.
It's quite effervescent on a hot day here in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Where we've just finished shooting a PSA for Capital Bike Share.
Yes.
Thanks for
That
coming
was fun.
by.
My pleasure. Yeah. You just came for the girls. You know,
Yes,
I came for the money.
Yes, everyone. If you're looking to pick up the ladies, make good friends with Matthew Lesko and walk around town with him. So, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about philanthropy, some of its inefficiencies. As you know, Matthew, that's one of the areas of concern for my foundation. And people who are familiar with your work know you do like to help people find access to the resources they need to carry out their dreams. Yeah. So my new project that we'll be airing this podcast on, the Unfunded List.
It's a terrific idea.
Well, thank you.
I just think the world needs it. I mean, and the most important thing to me, what I try to do is educate people. They don't have to hire some high-priced consultant to do anything, to start a nonprofit, to go look for money. I mean, that's stupid, because they just make money out of that, and you go nowhere, and you don't learn anything, and then you're not trained. So, failing and doing something with that failure. See, if you grind out that application yourself, you're going to learn a hell of a lot more about how your business or your foundations are going to succeed, then you hired a gun to fight the war for you. I mean, they're the people who lose the wars, right? The mercenaries. And you're fighting for your own country. You will learn more. You'll learn from more than that experience. And then after you fail, because you have to fail. If you're doing something new in life, you're going to fail. It's like learning to walk. You're going to do something new. It's like learning to walk. You're going to fall on your ass 100 times. But we forget that. And our friends always say, oh, don't do that. You're going to fail. You have to do that. And see, then come to you. So you have a place now that's reasonable to figure out and learn from that failure. That's the only way you
My
grow
friends
in life.
definitely tell me that I'm going to fail. Have you been talking to them?
Oh, your mother.
Yeah. Well, that may be. Hi, Mom. Hopefully you're listening to this. So the Unfunded List. I'm glad that you're a fan. And for those folks who do fail with their grant proposals, and I've been there.
We're on both sides of the fence too.
We've known each other for a long time. And I partnered with Wendy when is she still running the youth activism project?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. I couldn't stay with that sort of grind, all those rejection letters. I have a pile of 100 rejection letters from grants that I've sent off to foundations.
Me too, as an author. All the
I can only imagine.
On me, and that's the name of the game. And that's why I think if you're coming from your heart, the only way you're going to get through that shit is if you choose something you want to do that you really believe in. Because it's a pain in the ass to do anything in life, and it's hard and it's terrible and people beat you up. So if you're doing something just for the money or just from the fame or something like that, you're going to run into the roadblock and you'll say, I'm out of here and I'll go something easier. Nothing is easier. And what you have to do is get through that nonsense. And the only way to get through that is by choosing something you really want to do. You want to do that more than anybody else. So you'll hang in there no matter what the fuck happens.
Yes, very well said. Very good advice for folks. And as you go along, it's inevitable. Not everybody gets all of their proposals funded. You're going to get a rejected proposal. And we've set up a pretty evaluation committee with a lot of smart folks, with the exception of you and I. Everyone else are quite talented. We're going to give good, solid feedback on those proposals. That was one of the more frustrating. I didn't mind the rejection and the failure, but that they weren't telling me why they didn't want to fund it. There was no valuable feedback, no suggestions for other people that I might work with or other foundations I might go to, and I was fairly lucky. I did on occasion get something funded, and very often that was because of access, and not because I think I had good ideas, but because I knew the foundation very well that I was applying to, and not everyone is privileged enough to be able to get into the same rooms as these people, talk to these folks, who are lovely folks. I
Right.
I wish all the chance for them to, but not everybody can be everywhere. Not everyone has that as a strength. Some of them, they have issue expertise. They have a really great program. They know how to run. They just need the resources to run it. And we're going to try to give them as much feedback, improve these proposals as much as possible, send them off to the right place. That's the basic idea. Thank you very much for joining our evaluation committee.
No, it's wonderful because that's what people need. I mean, because you have to, when you fail like that, you have to fail. And that's why you can't have people who tell you you're going to fail beforehand, because that's the only way you learn. If you're not failing, you're not doing anything. That means you're not doing shit. So you might as well stay home and do nothing. So if you get out there and fail, then that's how way you grow. And nobody knows what works. And the only way to learn is by getting out and falling down and figuring out that, hey, I won't do that anymore. So now what do I need? And to get help to get ideas on what to do next, and how to improve on that next. But get out there and fail, whether use you, use me, or whatever, it doesn't matter. And actually, there's a lot of resources people could use. I mean, every state now has a special grants office. If you call up your governor's office, they have a special office set up just to help you write a grant.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Every state has one, and they're wonderful. They have the databases, that you're going to have to charge a lot. If you want a foundation center database and stuff, they have access to all that stuff.
Yeah, I have a platinum account there. It's very expensive. Very expensive.
Right, exactly. You're right. So that's the kind of help you can get for free. And if you don't know where to go in your state, just call it the governor's office. See, because every state wants you to get a grant. Because if you get a grant or a government contract, you're bringing money into the state, man. And so they'll help you with that. And they'll go through. Instead of going on Google and say, I need help writing a grant, you're going to get all these people going to charge you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Who knows what?
You could pay more than that. If
Exactly.
You like.
Yeah. Anything. They just say
as much as you're willing to pay. Yeah.
What's your budget? They'll gear something around that. But these people do it for free, and they don't advertise, and you'll never find them. And that's the problem to me, is that there's help like that, for nonprofits or whatever. And the same with business development centers. I mean, you're a nonprofit and say, oh, I got a legal problem. What the hell do I do? And all that kind of shit. You're going to try to find some lawyer, do pro bono work. No, if you go to your business development center, and they have them all over, and you don't know how to find them, call 211. 211 is a local hotline for nonprofit services and government office services for anything, anything. They have a database. You can go online, 211.org, and search their database.
Is it 211 in every state?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
really?
It's about 95% of the country. Yeah, just call them up and say, hey, I need help with that. Or maybe, so you have this little nonprofit, but you can't pay rent, and you're going to be thrown out. You can call them up too.
Really?
And say, hey, because there's mortgage money. States have mortgage money like that. You're going to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, or things like that. But again, finding that is the Google dog pile, or the Google haystack that you get trying to find that. You'll never find this stuff in there. And that's why, as a nonprofit, you're here to solve problems. So that's why, the government, federal, city, state government wants to help you. And they're there to help you.
In theory, they have an interest in solving problems, right? That's if I remember.
In theory.
If I remember government class, I think someone taught me that.
Right. And commerce is there to get money. Right. So that's their motive. So that's why you have to choose when to use what. I mean, they're all good, they're all necessary or whatever, but it's choosing when and where. And if you're struggling, you can't afford to give money to shit you could get for free.
No, it's absolutely. And this is an R-rated podcast, so please feel free to keep using your full range of expression.
That's about 3.
It's interesting to me. You said just call up your governor's office. I don't think most of the folks I know running nonprofits, I don't think that thought would ever occur to them. How is it that
I know the guy in Maryland. I mean, a great guy. That's what he's there for.
Is that how you literally have to do it, though? You have to call up the governor's office and ask to be connected to the...
Yeah, I mean, that's the easiest way to find out, because they know it for sure. If you call 211, that'd be hit and miss if you got it. But you're looking for someone to help you with grants. They all have one. I got a list on my website. If you want it, I'll give you a link.
No,
I have
absolutely.
a video of the guy here in Maryland who interviewed... it tells you why they're there and what they're doing and why, and they want to help. You want to get a government contract, you want to apply for a nonprofit grant or a foundation grant, They're there to help you. That's
so. I
what
mean,
their
every
job is.
fundraiser I've ever met with, they've they either have some foundation directory access, or they've gone down. You can go down. It is expensive for the home access, but you can go down to their office. They're in. I think they have a few dozen offices. There's one here in D.C. and there are
New
in
York,
other
some
cities.
of the big cities.
You can go in there and use it and use the stuff for
thing,
free.
Your most libraries will have access to it too, and they usually have a librarian that will know the database, because a lot of these databases, even though it's online and it's easy, it may take you 6 weeks to learn sometimes, but they usually have a special librarian that has access to that. And actually, I was giving a speech at the library the other day, a suburb here, and their librarian, if you're afraid of setting up a business on your computer and you don't know how to do it, come in, we'll do it for you.
Really?
Yeah, the librarian will do it for you.
Really?
Yes. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Fantastic.
They're getting into that. I mean, they have
not just books and DVDs.
Exactly,
at the library.
right. No, they see where it's information. And
that's great.
And that's
great.
available.
We're fortunate here in DC to have fine public libraries.
Yes,
I go often. There's all sorts of resources there,
absolutely.
And around the country. Thanks to a guy named Andrew Carnegie, we do have a lot of.
By the way, I meant to mention. I just saw this wonderful film about this Jewish philanthropist who used to run Sears Roebuck. God, what the hell's his name? It's playing up here at the.
I don't know. I don't think I know
this. Yeah, you have, but it's a wonderful story.
I know most of the big Jewish philanthropists.
I mean, but
I can't remember who was.
It's on the marquee.
I probably know his grandson.
Exactly. On the.
At the
not
Uptown?
Uptown, the one further up. What's the one up in Bethesda?
I don't go that far away.
Yeah, exactly. But you need a passport
I would never.
to get there.
I would never.
But it's a wonderful guy. And this guy built 5,000 schools for black people before civil rights.
Huh.
5,000 schools. And you talk to every major civil rights leader now, they all went to one of these schools. Whether it's Julian Bond, all these famous people that went to these schools. Then he gave out grants, too. And the guy ran Sears and Roebuck.
His name's Julius Rosenwald.
Something like that. Rosenwald. Something,
and he helped fund the Tuskegee Institute. He was and a lot of the stuff that Martin Luther King did.
Yeah, probably. And he gave grants to artists. I mean, most every, whether it's all the black actors and singers and writers and things like that. And he read 2 books. He never went to college, barely went to high school. He was a huckster, came here in New York selling stuff out of a suitcase, And then somebody called him up, actually, and I thought about, it's the first crowdfunding. He was selling men's clothes or something out of the trunk of his car in West Virginia or something for some big guy in New York City who had salesmen all over the road. And somebody called him up in Chicago, and he was a hustler kind of guy. He said, "Hey, I just sold 1,000 suits for $10 a piece. I need somebody to make them." It's crowdfunding. Like the first crowdfunding. So this is how he started. Say, "Hey, I'll figure out how to make this."
Oh, fantastic.
And then Sears Roebuck catalog, which he did, was the first. That was like Amazon. You bought everything, houses, everything from a Sears Roebuck catalog. And what was so smart, the other catalog at the time was Montgomery Ward or somebody like that. It had a big catalog.
I do know his grandson.
Oh, right? well, Sears was so much smarter.
Hello, Ian.
Because he made his catalog an inch smaller than Montgomery Ward's, so that when you put them together, his would be on top. Yes, you still buying?
Yes. We're just topping off our wine here, everyone.
So you'd put his catalog on top. And so, because it was an inch smaller, you couldn't put it on the bottom.
That's
But it's a wonderful story.
It is.
And the way it's, the film is wonderful because it's done with clips of movies from the era. Instead of just talking heads.
Outstanding.
So you got a feeling of what was
Speaking
going on
of film, I want to thank our hosts today, the Lookout DC, a co-working space in Adams Morgan, filled with filmmakers, other creative types. Please feel free to check us out at thelookoutdc.com or check out my work at unfundedlist.com or mossfamilyfoundation.org. Matthew, do you have any websites you'd like to plug?
Lesko.com.
Lesko.com with a K. Right. Everyone, so thank you very much, Matthew, for coming down. Thank you, everyone, for listening. All 4 or 5 of you. Mom, particularly. I'll give you a call later. Thank you.